Hello, hello, crafty friends. Stacy here with my Tuesday creative session, and I have a super easy angled gate fun fold card for you. And I made mine as a Mother's Day card using the family ties, and this is actually a discounted item right now. So go check that out on Last Chance. But I'm also using the lovely arrangements, dies, and stamp just for the magnolia die and stamp using that. And like I said, this is a great stamp set that I will absolutely keep in my stash just for the two sizes. And I love the font for Happy Father's and Mother's Day. So that's what I'm using. Let me show you this fun card. Super easy belly band here. And then the card just opens like a nice, cute hug or an angled fun fold. And then I've been forgetting to do this. I covered my envelope flap just to coordinate with my card. So I'm going to leave all this. I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to bring in all of my bits and pieces. I have everything pre-cut and ready to go. And there's also going to be a description down in the description. You can find a tutorial that'll have all of this laid out for you as well. Excuse me. Let me just take a drink real quick. Okay. So here's my envelope. Now, for the envelope, you want to measure your flap. So I get away with a 2x6 for mine. And then all you do here is cover this flap with adhesive, press that down, flip it over, and fussy cut it. We'll do that. Super fun, but I always forget to do my envelope. So you're going to need your card base. And this card base, I'm using the Secret C, and this is cut at 5.5 by 11. So you're going to need that. I have Petunia Pop for my cardstock, and what you need is a 2 5/8 by 3 1/8. Then you're going to need a 4 by 5 1/4, and then two panels that are cut at 3 1/8 by 5 1/4. So that's your cardstock. Then for your basic white, you're going to need a piece of 2.5 by 3. I have two just in case my stamping is a little off. I have an extra piece ready. And then you need a piece of white 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Sorry about all the eighths, my friends. Okay, and then for DSP, I'm using the Florals in Bloom. This is beautiful DSP, but you're going to need two panels, and they're each cut at 3 by 5. And then for our belly band, just make sure if you're using DSP that is directional, you want to make sure. So for my belly band, my flowers are going right side up and not upside down, if that makes sense. Okay, so for my belly band, this is cut at 1 1/4 by 10 7/8. Okay, think that's everything. Yes. Okay, so let me get this up at the corner here. Okay. So what do we want to do first? Let's get our scoring. Let's do some scoring, and then we're going to have to make some tick marks. Okay, so just bear with me. We'll do this. I have a scoring board, a big board out on my desk. You certainly can use your paper trimmer with your scoring tool, but I find it better on a scoring board to do this. Okay, so on your 11-inch side of actually, I'm just going to do this in my scoring board because it is going to be quite easier for you to see. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard and I'm going to zoom in. Okay, perfect. This is a lot easier doing it this way. So on the 11-inch side, I'm going to score at 3 3/8. So I'm going to find my 3 3/8, and that is right here. So 3 3/8. Just make sure I go down the line here. Don't. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip that over and do 3 3/8 on this side as well. Okay. There we have it. So here is our card base. All right. Now we're going to take our belly band. All right. Here's our belly band, and we are going to score at 3 1/4. And I'm going to do this lightly because this is DSP. Okay, and I'm going to flip it around and do 3 1/4 on this side as well. All right. Okay, now keeping my scoreboard here, you're going to grab your two panels. Hold on, I'm grabbing them so I can bring them in. You're going to grab your two cardstock panels, and these are 3 1/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, what you're going to do is you are going to make a tick mark at 4 1/8 on the 5 1/4 side. So again, you're going to take your two mats, 5 1/4 by 3 1/8. You're going to place them back to back so they mirrored each other. On the 5 1/4 inch side, you're going to put this down in your paper trimmer, okay? I mean, in your scoreboard. And you're going to find your 4 1/8 inch mark. So mine is right there. So I am just going to make a tick mark here. Okay, it's almost like a guide. You could do this with a pencil also, but I found it was easier to do with my tool. So now you'll see I have two notch tick marks, whatever, equal distance of one another. Okay, so those are going to make your angle panels. You're now going to set those aside. You're going to take now your two pieces of pattern paper that are 3 by 5. You're going to back these up to one another so your design shows on both sides. Okay, make sure your pattern is right side. Same deal. You're going to line these up on your 5-inch side, and you're going to find that 4-inch mark, and you're going to make a little tick mark at your 4-inch mark. Okay. Okay. So I just do 4-inch, make sure I got it through both panels. So now when I flip these over, I have equal notches right there and right there on both sides. Might be hard for you to see, but I can absolutely see it. And that's all that matters, right? Okay, so that's that. All right, now we're going to come back in with our card base. And on our 5 1/2 inch side, we need to put that in our scoreboard here, and we need to make a notch at 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 is right here. Make a notch. Okay, now you're just going to flip that over. 4 1/4. Make a notch. All right, you can get everything out of the way. I'm going to zoom out a minute. I think we are done. Now, where is my, where is my, okay, I just want to, where's my stuff? Okay, I'm going to fold my sides in here. All right, now you're going to get your paper trimmer. And you need all the panels that you did the notch with. All right, so where's my notches? Right here. Okay, so you can do this together. We're going to go through both layers, but actually let me zoom in. As you can see, so I make sure I'm lined up properly with that was the way I had it in my scoreboard. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up in my paper trimmer, and we are going to cut an angle from the notch to that corner. So how we're going to do that is make sure your notch is in your rail of your trimmer right there. Hold that and then move that down. All right, just like that. Okay, see how I have that? So I have my notch and the tip. Now I'm going to bring in my trimmer blade, and I'm going to close this, and I'm going to hold it tight. And you're going through 2 layers, okay? So now when I lift that up, you have those 2 pieces, and now this creates our panels for the front. So now you're going to set that aside for a moment. And now you're going to come in with those DSP. Make sure you have that lined up how you had your notches. All right. Same thing. You want to put that in your paper trimmer. Put that in the paper trimmer in your rail to your point. Okay. Close the cover. Hold it tight. You're going through 2 layers. There you go. So you have, there's your 2 DSP pieces. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to have to make our angles on our card. So if I bring in my card, let me just zoom out a minute. Sorry. Where's my mouse? There we go. Okay, so here's my notch, and here's my notch on the other side. So we're going to line this up in our paper trimmer, and we are going to trim from there to our score line, and from this side to our score line. Okay, so you want to put, where's my notch? I lost it. Okay, there's my notch. So I'm going to get that in my score line. In my rail right there. And then there is my score line at that other opposite end. So in and then trim. Just like that. Okay? So now you're going to come around and you're going to do the opposite end. From there up. So however you want to do it. Put your, see, I have that there. And then you got to get there with my notch. I got it. I'm looking at myself in my video up here, and I should be looking down on my paper trimmer. Okay. Just like that. Same deal. Score up. Done. Okay. I think we have done all of our score marks. All right. So we have that. We have our panels, and we can put these together. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we have our panels. This is garbage. Perfect. Okay, so now what we want to do, let's just adhere all these down. I always have some kind of glue around me, some adhesive, right? So I'm gonna line that up. I'm gonna turn this sideways because I cannot see what I am doing. It's a little wonky because of the angles, but when it's on, it looks beautiful. Okay, and this one, plus with our paper trimmer, sometimes with the 1/8 of an inch and the angles, so it looks a little wonky, but line it up the best you can, I promise. Do you know how long I was playing? Let me pull this down just a little bit more. How long I was playing with this one? Oh, Jesus. You don't want to know. Too long. Maybe it's best if you just do it like on that side. That's probably the best way to line it. Okay, yes, that was the best way. Use this longer side. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, there's our angles, our panels. And we could just adhere those down now. So let's get those down. Then to our belly band and our inside and some stamping. All right, now you just want to put this down. Love the way this secret C and this Petunia Pop go together. Easy card to duplicate for any holiday. Like I said, I try to bring you my creative sessions for cards that I kind of need, right? Mother's Day's coming up. I've been making a bunch of Father's Day. So I need Mother's Day. So that's why I thought this was perfect. Okay. All right. So here's our belly band. We have our score. We scored right there. So just bend that and leave that off to the side. And then bring your other pieces in. So we have this is for our front, and then this is for our inside. So all we're going to do for the inside is we are going to take our, oh, did I put that away? I did. I put it away. Let me grab that stamp set. I need stamp one on the inside. Oh, good. I need this magnolia. Put right there. I'm going to stamp that in Secret Seed, just in the corner right there. Just let that dry a minute. Take this. That's the only stamping needed for that. Okay, let that dry a moment. Okay, here now for my Happy Mother's Day. I already have my mother's on one ink block, and what I did was I had put down um, I stamped mothers first, and then I laid the happy and the day where I wanted it. Then I put down my block and lifted it up. So it makes this type of double step stamping in two different colors so easy. So this is why I have an extra panel just in case I don't like the way it comes out. Um, but I'm going to take mothers and I'm going to put that kind of a little bit down, not quite in the middle. It's down. Okay. So you see what I mean? Now my happy and my day perfectly line up the way I want it. Okay. So now I'm going to come in with the secret safe. Do happy and day. Love it. So that's an easy way to do the two colors of stamping. All right, so now all this is going to do is layer on top of that, but we're just going to let our ink set for a minute. Now what we're going to do is this ink, I call it blur inking. So these I did not color with anything but the Petunia Pop ink and my blending brush. Now, I did go outside the lines. That's totally okay. That's the look. It's more of a blurred look. And check out that kind of bling, those gems I have right there. That's something from my stash. I'll show you just to give you an idea if you have something similar or some seed beads or something that we all know and love and have. Okay, so I have one of my blending brushes that I have Petunia Pop on already. And all I'm going to do is I probably have enough ink on this brush already from what I've been playing with today. I'm just going to lightly blend around there. Yeah, I do have enough ink on there just to show you. And I go over the lines and that's totally fine. So not sure how well that's coming up. There you go. There, that's a perfect. So you see, that's about all the ink and it's going outside the lines, totally fine. So now at this point, I would stamp your sentiment in there. I don't know what, I think I'm just going to write my full sentiment. Oh no, this gets layered. So you need to layer this along your Petunia Pop layer, the 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And then you can put that on the inside there. Let's get that down. Beautiful, darling, beautiful. Okay, now we could layer this up. Okay. We did not need that because I stamped it pretty well. All right. So again, I just want to show you that technique about so this is how I did those three, right? I had three. Well, I had three. I only used two. I stamped them, I blur inked them, and then I die cut them out. So I went ahead and I already have a few stamped up here. So when you want to do this with any color, right, you want to get some ink on your blending brush. I always have a piece of scrap by me. Okay, because I always tap off that excess. So get some ink on your brush. Do not need a lot, especially if it's a dark color. If it's a light color, you need a lot, but if it's a dark color, you don't. So I just always tap off. See those hard, harsh lines? I just kind of tap off, right? I start blending a little. All right, I think I'm good. Now, I stamped my image. I'm just going to start somewhere and just go over. I am so lightly, I am not putting a lot of pressure. And I know it's hard to see. It looks pretty light in on the camera coming through, but it's not. Let me turn that sideways. See, that's dark, right? And then there's like no ink on here, very light and super light pressure. And see how it's perfectly blurred? I don't have any of those harsh lines like you see here, right? See those harsh lines? That's why I like to tap it off and same thing, super light. That's it. So you can do, I love doing this with animals, big images, right? So it's okay, you're outside the line. I'll save this for another project. But now all you do is you run this through your die, and then this is what you get. I love doing this. I love this excuse me, I love this technique. Okay, so next, let's do our belly band. So you're going to take your belly band. I like to get it in place, and you can use tear and tape or some very secure tape that you have. Okay, just kind of get that in position, and I'm just going to use this adhesive. This is fine. Normally, I use my tear and tape when I do belly bands, but I don't feel like getting up right now, and I didn't put it on my desk. All right, so I am just gonna make sure it's right side up. Make sure it's even and commit and push down. So there is our belly band. Okay, next. So the seam right there, I just turn it around and put my seam towards the back. No biggie. Okay. Here's our Happy Mother's Day panel. So now we want to get our panel down. You can certainly put a strip of foam tape if you want, or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put adhesive right on my belly band, making sure not to go wider than my panel. And then I'm just going to set my panel on. Okay. There we go. All right, now I have three, but we don't need three. We only need two. So I have two. Now, the reason why I staggered my Mother's Day there, because I can put one flower perfectly sitting right in there and then one kind of off to the side. So there is a strategic positioning of why I did that like that. So I also cut out of the lovely arrangements and garden green that little leaf. cluster and that single leaf. So I'm going to see how I want that positioned like that. So I want the double leaf poking out of here. So I'm just going to set it right there. I'm going to grab a piece of Scotch tape. Just put it there. Now this one, I am just going to put adhesive all on the back and set that completely down, straight to paper. I'm not going to use dimension, although you can, and I'm so surprised I'm not, because you all know me, I love dimension. I don't think I need glue on the leaves because they might be hanging off. They are. Okay, so I'm going to get my magnolia back in place. Just like that. Okay, this one now, I'm going to get positioned. I want them to overlap. I think that's pretty good, right? And this leaf, I want to poke out. Oh, no, I didn't want this one. I wanted to use this one. Yeah, this leaf is going to poke out right there. So I want another little piece of tape. Right there. I'm going to trim a little smidge off that. Tape was hanging over. Okay. Now I want to put dimensionals on the back of that magnolia because this one is going to pop up. Sure. Yeah. Just like that. So this is a super cute card. One will be for my mom and one will be for my mother-in-law. And I will probably give them a gift card of some sort. So I will also probably put a glue dot, stick that on the inside. Okay. I don't have it hanging over, right? No. Perfect. Okay. So now let me put my gems on just to get this finished, and then I'll show you what I did with some stuff I have in my stash. These are the 24, 26 in color shimmer gems, and it has that petunia pop right here. So I'm going to put a triangle of 3, 1, 2, and then a little one here for 3. Okay. So now what I did, I had these, I love them. I have them in several colors. They were from my CTMH days and they're called loose gems. They look like little diamonds. I have to find these online. I just love these. So what I did was I used that and I have my liquid glass. All I did was I put a nice dollop in the middle there. And then I put one here. And all I did was kind of sprinkle a few on. Now they're going to go all over, and that's okay. You just want to get ones to fall into the glue. So if you have seed beads, they would be good for this. Just like sprinkle them in. And then I dumped it over and got all of them off that weren't sticking. And tried to place them down. Need like a little mound of them. I love when I do like palm trees. I always do this in the middle of a palm tree. I've done it before on video. I'm sure you all have seen me, whoever follows me. I have these like beige colored seed beads, and I always put them in the middle of the palm trees. I can put another here. So I'm kind of just like placing it on my little pile of glue so that as the glue dries, let me show you this one. As the glue dries, it dries clear, and then you just have this little pile of rhinestones. Well, gems. So I'm just filling them up. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. Okay, yeah. All right. Oh, two more. So yeah, I don't know if anyone finds these, please share with me. Love them. Love, love, love us. Great for shaker cards. And I've been using them sparingly because I don't want to use them all. Okay. So this one, my card base, I did in cloud cover, and this one is the Secret C. All right, so now our envelope. Like I said, measure your flap. I get away with a 2x6, and then you want to grab silicone mat. Because now what I'm going to do is I am going to cover this whole flap with adhesive. Making sure to get, okay, and I just ran out. Okay. Then put your DSP. That down, you can burnish it. And now, fussy cut around the flap. And then you have a beautiful envelope. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment if you enjoyed this video. If you're going to make this angled fun fold card, angled gate fun fold card. And if you do, and you're part of my private group on Facebook, I'd love for you to come over there and post your project so we can all see what you made. All right. But there you have it. Here's my Secret C version that we made today. And here is my cloud cover. And again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy my videos that I bring to you. I do a monthly card class the first Saturday of every month. All my videos are on YouTube, so you can absolutely find everything. And then about 3 times a month, I do a creative session on a Tuesday. Videos drop on YouTube and Facebook by 7 p.m. each week. So I hope you enjoyed this, and happy crafting. Happy Mother's Day. Take care, everyone.